if I told you that someone is tracking every Tesla gigafactory, monitoring pharmaceutical companies in real time, and helping investors make multi-million-dollar decisions based on who's walking through which doors? And what if that same person is fighting to put the power of that data back in your hands? Literally paying customers for information that tech giants have been taking for free. Today's guest has spent over 15 years building the invisible infrastructure that powers our data-driven world. He's the CEO who sold his first company, then built not one, but 3 revolutionary platforms that manage data from over 1 billion mobile devices globally. He's made Fortune 500 companies rethink how they understood their customers, and now he's on a mission to demystify the very industry he's helped create. But here's what makes Walter Harrison truly unique. While most data experts speak in code and algorithms, Walter calls himself a data guy who actually talks like a human. He's turned the complex world of geofencing, real-time analytics, and consumer behavior into digestible insights that anyone can understand and use. From his profitable multi-million-dollar company Complementics that processes data from 1 billion devices, to WhoCameBy, which reveals who actually shows up to your businesses versus who just clicks on your ads, to Tapestri, a revolutionary app that pays for your own data. Walter is reshaping how we think about privacy, profits, and power in a digital age. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking to understand your customers, an investor seeking an edge, or simply somebody who wants to know what's really happening with your personal data, this conversation will change how you see the invisible digital world around you. Welcome, Walter Harrison, the data revolutionary who's making the complex simple and putting consumers back in control. Thank you for coming on the show.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me. What an intro. I appreciate that.
Not a problem. I do have to thank my AI for getting that information. I'm sure it would have been hard to come by for me. So I just want to start off on your first sale of your first company, info.com, in 2015. Mm-hmm. What were the lessons you learned out of that?
Oh, man, good question. So we sold it to info.com, which is like a meta search engine based in Chicago, where I'm based. But we built a browser extension. That was my first company. So there was a time, maybe you guys remember, like this is like early 2000s where everyone had a toolbar. Like toolbars were cool. eBay had one, Amazon had one. And I was like, well, you know what? It's time for me to build one as well. So we did. So our toolbar was based on trying to get consumers to find the best price online. And so we had all this consumer data of like what people search, and that was enlightening, to say the least, because we clearly realize then and there, this is like a G-rated podcast, but like a lot of the searches are in one category for sure. But a lot of search fits, like most search is either navigational, transactional, or really trying to experiential. Like people are trying to find stuff. And what we found out is like, you may be interested in this new handbag or this new TV or this Blu-ray, whatever. That was like a thing back then. But when we were selling the data and trying to get ads, we actually weren't even selling data. We were trying to actually show ads. The destination was less important. It was all about your intention. And which, if you're listening to this, you're on TikTok, you're on Instagram, your feed is all about trying to understand more about you. Like, not so less where you actually go, but more about what you're interested in. So the big lesson we learned is you really don't know what is going to be the revenue later on or what's going to be the destination. But that journey, what we call now trail data, journey data, like you're searching right now, we're approaching Black Friday here in the Northern Hemisphere. So it's not where you're going to buy it at REI or Nordstrom's or Canada Tire or whatever. It's that whole journey up until you're going to purchase. That's the Holy Grail. And we learned that early on, and we started selling those breadcrumbs. That discovery process was more valuable than the ultimate purchase itself.
That really does make sense when you put it in today's perspective of like AIs know pretty much everything. The only thing they don't really understand is humans. So if you think of that now, that data is so valuable to understanding how a person can go about these things. It's just amazing. So let's get on to your new company, WhoCameBy. Where did the aha come from? Like, Why did you make the pivot?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, as you mentioned in the intro, Complementics, my first business. Basically that browser extension company, we had at one point 10 million people using it. We sold it, and we sold it to info.com, and then we pivoted from like a browser extension to mobile. So we built up what's called an SDK. It was like a line of code that sits inside of apps, and we basically would say, "Hey, app, let's say you're a XYZ game app." Well, if you're a game app, that's really hard. Like, how are you going to make money? There's 3.5 million apps in the App Store. And every ad you see is for the new season of Stranger Things, season 5 coming, or get $15 off an Uber trip, or play this game. So even if you're showing ads, you're still incentivizing people to leave your app. And in the world of attention, like you don't want to do that. So what we did is we said, hey, put this line of code in, we'll pay you app owner for your data. And then we got all this data globally of like how consumers live and move in a very compliant way. And then we would say, hey, who's interested in buying it? Hedge funds and banks and publicly traded companies. Like we're approaching the holidays. Who's traveling this in what are they flying American? Are they flying Delta? Or are they traveling to? Why? How much money do they make? Could we get them to switch from Delta to American? Like all these questions. So who came by is like we already know this exists at a very high level for large enterprises, but could we bring it down to the small to medium sized business, like democratize it, commoditize it a little bit, so small to medium sized businesses could work for it. And here in the U.S., that's like 96% of people they work for a small to medium sized business versus working for Google.
It's impressive that you're still operating on a revenue model by selling data, but you've also shifted the priority to the market that actually needs it right now, which
Yes.
I appreciate so much. Because yeah, being a small business, you don't get seen very easily. You have to figure out tips and tricks all across the way. Just figure out who's coming through your door,
Yep.
um, and it's hard. How do you track who come like so that goes into the Tapestri thing that you're going to pay people to have their data. How does that work for the end users?
Yeah, it's a good question. We actually just moonlighted Tapestry, but we were excited about it. And I'll kind of tell you the idea behind it because we had these relationships with the app from like a business. The apps are business owners, right? Like you may launch an app, I could launch an app, and how are you going to make money? Well, Complementics will actually pay you for your data. So then we're like, okay, well, could we get consumers to do this? So basically, instead of paying the app, pay the consumers. They download our app, we get access to their data in a very transparent way. Basically, you're doing this already with Instagram and Meta, so they're not paying you. Um, you're in a data exchange that you don't even know they exist. It's not free. You're paying for it in some way or regard. And can we pay the consumers for the data? And I feel like we launched it. We got tons and tons of people to use the app globally, which we're excited. They're still using the app now on the Play and the Apple App Store. But we just got to figure out the economics of it because the challenge is consumers think their data is worth like, I'm worth like $200 a month. We're like, well, not really. So we're going to work out the economics of it. But the idea worked. Like clearly you could get consumers to do this of all ages. We thought it would just be college kids for beer money or maybe stay-at-home moms who are doing like coupon shopping. It literally was across the gambit. Uber drivers were using it, stay-at-home moms were using it, college kids were using it, and truck drivers were using it. Because like we're driving anyway, why not? So that was really, really cool.
It's fair, and I just want to touch on that data point that everybody thinks their data is valuable. I just became an AI music or song creator. I don't know what the word is. We don't have this word yet. I am an AI artist for music. Um, and I was having a discussion with a real artist about using their voice and things like that. And they're like, well, like, how would I do this? Like, how would I pay these? Like, I want to pay these artists, but how do I know whose data is what? How do I
Yep,
know how much to pay them? And I'm like,
yep,
when you look at Spotify's revenue model, they pay 0.0003 cents to the artist or the album for one listen. Like it's not much. So like
yeah.
your data's not worth much unless you have a lot of it. Like
It's
and
an
that's where
aggregate.
mass yeah.
That's
So
a
just
great
wanted to touch
point.
on that
Yeah,
point.
that's a great point because artists say the only people who make money on Spotify is Drake and Taylor Swift. I mean, if you're that big, then yeah, it adds up quite a bit. But you're right. And then the crazy thing is like, I'm not sure this is true. You probably know since you're doing this, like the most popular artists right now are like AI artists and like
Yep.
AI songs are trending right now. And it's like, man,
I think it's because we're putting feeling back into the songs. Like for a long time, the lyrics. I don't know about you, but for me, it's like the lyrics don't. I don't understand where they're going, like
yeah,
what they're trying to tell me, what feeling they're trying to convey. Like it seems very sterilized. But I can make the music about. Like I have one that's. I took a quote from Kevin Hart's interview in Diary of a CEO, and I made a song called "Dumbest in the Room," and it is all about just.
that was a great interview, by the way. I listened to it yesterday.
I'll send you the track after this, but essentially, it's just packing that down, being like, I don't want to be smart because if I'm ashamed to ask the question, I'm not going to ask that question.
Yeah.
To me, it has more feeling than the next Taylor Swift song or whatever's out there currently.
Well,
I
let's go.
think there's just more.
Let me dive into that because that's actually really interesting. So you're saying it's less about the actual vocals and talent because AI can make it perfect,
Yeah.
but the lyrics are actually yours from your heart. But maybe you don't sing, but you could take your poetic thoughts and feelings, emotions, and lived experience, put it into something that's going to make it beautiful. Oh, that's interesting. I
Yeah,
didn't
and
even think about it that way.
I really love it. Like I didn't. So I used to sing as a kid. I had a great voice. I did singing songwriting as like a group and stuff like that. But then like I grew out of my voice, and I really hated my voice for a long time. But I've always had like music in my head.
Yeah,
Now I can take that music in my head and put it to a medium and actually put it out there. So
fascinating.
it feels like being a kid again.
Because typically you would be a producer and you got to find an artist,
Yeah.
and and now like yeah, you have it unlimited. Fascinating. That's so cool.
I have 3 albums on Spotify, a fourth one on the way. Like, yeah.
Interesting. I need to dig it in. Yeah, definitely share it with me.
So let's go back into a little bit more of the data side of things, I guess. Um, how do you keep the data private? Like, I
Yeah,
really want to understand that. I think people should really understand that how it goes about getting privatized and stuff like that.
yeah. So let's kind of use an example that people are familiar with is cookies. So I think people are aware that when you go to Amazon.com because we're all going there, right? Or Amazon.ca, right? When you go there, a cookie is being dropped on your desktop, metaphorically per se, and it's basically like a light fingerprint. It kind of gives you your browser, where you're located, your IP address, your user agent string, etc. And that actually holds for about 30, 60 days and it refreshes. The reality is you're going there all the time and you're signed in. And you also have the Amazon app on your phone and also user agent string, iPhone 17 dot blah, 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 user agent string, and you're signed in, which refreshes over and over and over again. So unless you're signed in, Amazon doesn't actually know it's the weird Canadian or Walter. Like, they have no idea. So what we see on mobile is just like this hash, like a unique code for your phone. And that gets reset every time you upgrade to, let's say, the latest version of iOS or Android. So we really don't know who you are per se. But from a location perspective, which is because what we do with geofence, we may actually see like, hey, this person went to Starbucks, they went to Hortons, they went to Six Flags, they're flying out of O'Hare here in Chicago, etc. But we don't really know. All we see is literally dots on a screen. We sometimes call it God's eye, just because we want to be cool. We say like, oh, it's God's eye. Like we can see all this stuff. Very interested in knowing who you are, who you're married to, and everything about your life. We just want to know like how many people are going to go to Starbucks this fall to try the pumpkin spice latte or try this new thing. So that's the key thing. And we also give the consumer the ability to opt out because it's your data, it's your choice. In the day, you can opt out of tracking by limited ad tracking on Android and iOS and really kind of disassociate from that. But what it does do is it makes, when you get on Instagram, your ads are going to be relevant. I think we all have experienced like, why am I getting an ad for this? Like this makes I would zero
You have a
interest.
conversation with your partner and it somehow shows up on their phone.
Exactly. It's like, and now I would argue like people can be honest, like Instagram ads are pretty relevant. Like people are buying things off Instagram and TikTok. TikTok is honestly at another level right now on their quality of their ads. So it's an ID that is obfuscated. So it's not necessarily tied to who you are, and it can be reset at your control.
Okay, perfect. Let's move into more of how small and medium sized business owners can like use this data,
Yeah. Hmm.
because that's something I don't think people understand. Like how would this data help them understand how to grow?
Yeah, that's a great example. So the best example I like to use is let's say that I make a really good hamburger and I'm gonna open up a new hamburger joint in the United States. And you do the research. Do you know how many hamburger places are in the United States? Or even Canada, like it's almost like there could be 50,000 of them. Americans, Canadians, we never get tired of a good burger. Um, even like a veggie burger, like so it could be In-N-Out Burger or Culver's, McDonald's or Burger King or Hortons. I mean, everybody sells a burger. So the value, let's say I open up a new burger place in this city somewhere I choose. Let's say it's Boise, Idaho. I'm gonna open up a new burger place. The value is I can geofence every other burger place in my city. I can understand how long people wait in line. I can understand how long they drove there, like what was their drive time, what was their dwell time, and figure out, what is the age, the gender, what are the demographics of people who actually go to my competitors, and start over time, start figuring out how I can move those customers over to my restaurant. So I geofence, let's say In-N-Out Burger, which is obviously a great burger. I geofence In-N-Out Burger in Boise, Idaho. I just launched the Canadian burger in town, and then I can take those devices, so that hash ID I mentioned earlier, I can upload those up to Instagram and start targeting those people for ads. I can do my creative on AI using ChatGPT or Claude and say like, build me an ad unit that will convert to this demographic in this city and state, and it's gonna be optimize it for Instagram targeting. It'll build your ad, you upload that ad to Instagram, and then you would use those devices from your geofence, and bingo bango, you're serving ads to that group of people. And you can do that going back 1 year. You can start seeing seasonality and churn and things over time. Like, hey, I had a rough weekend with my restaurant or my gym or my church or whatever it is. Did they? Well, you can figure out. Look at their foot traffic and compare it to yours.
Very fair. And you just realized that I'm also going to reach out because I'm going to need this.
Yeah.
I actually just side note. I just started. I'm now the tourism coordinator for my town. Uh,
Oh, cool.
so now I'm actually marketing and trying to get tourism here. So I'm actually going to probably reach out and get this because we have no metrics here, and it's really bad. That's one of the things that is like the biggest mind boggle here is we don't collect data.
Really?
It's just old time, right? Like I live in a small town. There's 3,500 people here. They're all older. They barely have websites or Facebook, or so it's just coordinating them, getting them online, and then marketing the hell out of the town. But thankfully, there's a lot of people with who want to make it big. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh,
Um,
cool. That's fun.
yeah. Um, where do you see the future of your company?
Oh, it's going to be super AI based as well. I mean, and I know that's so redundant. I hate saying it. Feels so ick because it's like everywhere. AI, is there a boom? Is it this? Uh, but it's just true. I mean, that's reality. So right now, people draw geofences around. They like literally draw little polygons around whatever. Like, I mean, let's say you want to geofence a football game, geofence the Soldier Field in Chicago, or geofence Madison Square Garden, the Taylor Swift concert, and maybe you want to target Swifties or you want to target people who like Drake or whatever it is. I eventually think you'll just ask a question to the WhoCameBy AI. Give me all the Drake fans. Give me all the LA Dodgers fans. I mean, give me people who like this type of burger, and then boop, it's done. Like literally, the work will be done for you.
Very fair. I do wonder though. would it not be best to use that to build trade personal models?
Yeah, like personal, like for the business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you sell that personalized model to that business so that it knows the ins and outs and all the demographic. Like there's the marketing person right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, I do think honestly it goes away. And Mark Zuckerberg's talking about this with the future of Meta. Like you're just gonna talk to this little AI, Meta AI. It is your marketer. It's your CMO. So that we definitely think that's going to be the future. Us, like, because our clients are global and they're asking for very different, like, people want to geofence Taiwan because they're making so many chips, right? Like you mentioned the Gigafactory, like, oh, people like the factory that makes Ozempic, let's geofence it because they're publicly traded, Eli Lilly, and let's figure out if more people are working. That means they or have a new drug coming out or COVID vaccines or whatever it is. And there definitely will just be an AI for that. No geofencing necessary. Just ask a question and get an answer.
Very fun fact. And the fact that you brought up GLP-1s, I just want to say I found out today that they actually stop aging as well as a side effect.
Really?
Yeah, there was
I
just
mean,
a paper released today on that.
I need to get on this thing like ASAP now.
I was like,
So,
it sucks that I'm very skinny because I can't get.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Jeez, like
Um,
and I know it been like stops addiction, stops drinking, stops this. My goodness gracious.
yeah, they're finding out a lot, and there is concerns because yeah, like we don't know all the side effects of Ozempic, but at the same time, it's yeah, like lightning fast. Just 3 days ago, I found out that black holes are the best supercomputers in the world, like ever. Like this information is coming daily, and people are really like I want to say enthusiastic. Like there's the real hope. Like I don't know if you feel this. When I was growing up with the internet, it
Hmm.
felt hopeful. Like there
Yeah, for
was
sure.
things that could be made to make things better for
Yep,
everybody.
yep.
It kind of feels like that moment again.
Oh, it does. It feels like like that movie, everything happening all at once, or something like that. Literally, everything's happening all at once across so many things, political, astronomy. Like this comet coming here. Have you seen that? Everybody talking about this.
The
Is it
three eye, yeah,
the Three Eye Atlas or whatever? I'm just like, what? Like, what is this thing? I have no idea. I don't know. It's fascinating.
yeah. I watched the Arrival the other day just because like
It's a
I'm like at
classic
some
movie.
point this is gonna happen. Like we're just gonna actually I've been contemplating it because there was a paper about that time is actually like three different parallel worlds, past, present, future. And I was
Mm,
like, oh, that just kind of described the language in Arrival, where you can see based off if you know the language, you can see both past, present, and future at the same time.
yeah.
Um, it's interesting where we can actually pick at what we don't know anymore and go towards. Um, I want to get back to the to you.
Yeah, I know.
We keep on going.
Let's
Um,
do
you're a
it.
trail runner and a mountaineer.
I, I am. Hmm.
How do these help you? Like, I
Oh
wanna
yeah.
kind of tie
Good
this
question.
into to your business because yeah, how do these help you?
Oh, man, what a great question. So I do think like motion creates emotion. I think like you ever heard like if you're waiting for something to change, you got to do the action first, and your feelings will follow. It's really true. So I think I love the outdoors. That's why I love Canada. I mean, I love BC. Man, I would literally live in Banff if I could. I just love
Come to
being
Lewisport.
outdoors. Yes, I need to go. We need to talk about this. So I love the outdoors, and what I think it is what long distance running, specifically trail running as well. Like it's hard, but it's also fun, and you're spending a lot of time in your own thoughts, and you can work through problems. And that long endurance effort is kind of like a little metaphor of life, a little bit, right? There's parts of that journey that are hard. There's parts that are flowy and smooth, and I'm talking like fall trees for days, the color, the foliage, and it's like there's no better place in the world right now. And then you have that climb, you're just like, why am I out here? Why did I decide to do this? It's like 30 degrees out here. But then you finish it and you're like, this was the best 2 hours of my life. And I feel like that metaphorically does spill over in business and in relationships. Like doing the hard thing, even though you don't feel like doing it. And then at the very end, you feel like amazing. And then when you apply that to business and there's challenges, you're like, oh, it's just like this. Like it's going to be, I expect the challenge. It's supposed to be hard. Why did I think it was going to be easy? It's supposed to be. And enjoy that journey along the way. So, it's the beautiful miles, it's the amazing scenery, and it's the person you become in that process. Is why I love trail running.
Mhm. It kind of goes to the point of like we need to experience boredom in order to understand and create the next thing, because we need to sit in our own thoughts and not ruminate, just working through them, understanding who you are, and going with that. I don't like to run. Gotta say that. I am not a physical person, but I do like to go out in nature. Like I do like to do some physical things. I'm oddly strong for not having many muscles, but like I do physical things to just get something out. Um,
Yeah. Hmm.
if you sit and do nothing and you feel it, you stress up, you need to get that physical energy out somehow. So normally that's on my ATV, or like trying to
Ooh,
do something that's
that's fun.
cutting the grass. Even like that's fun. I
Yeah.
mean, being an adult is so weird. I like getting appliances. I like cutting the grass. I like to do the old timey things. Um, but
Adulting.
adulting is physical.
Yeah. Highlight of your weekend. Maybe you maybe go to Home Depot or Lowe's, get some lumber. Sounds
We
exciting.
because of the backup in our sewage, we have to now go and get more flooring because we ruined the flooring. So I gotta go figure out how to do that.
Yep. Thanks, YouTube.
What do you think makes a good entrepreneur?
Yeah. I mean, it's the question of all time. Is it, are you born? Is it built? Nurture, nature? I think it's a bit of both, but I do think grit is foundational. So there's a stat that of the Fortune 500 companies, like 70% of them are foreign born, right? Like that's like an interesting statistic. So it's like, oh, it's interesting. Like these aren't people who were born wealthy, born successful. They came here primarily with nothing. So there's that grit, that desire, that hunger. Another stat is like what percent that have wealth or have success in their businesses can bring it on to the second and third generation. It like falls off a cliff, right? Because they don't have that same grit and that need and that desire. I think curiosity, a voracious need to know and understand, and this quote by Mark Twain that I love, observe the majority and do the opposite. Like that contrarian nature is kind of like built in. Like, oh, why does it have to be this way? Why can't we make it this way? Where the norms and the masses are like half asleep on Instagram, buying everything, consuming,
Yep.
consuming, consuming. And you're just like, well, maybe we should build this. I want to put this in the world. Like, I'm going to put this song in the world. I'm going to put this business in the world, and you're following your own path. So I definitely think grit, curiosity, and then it's just doggedness, perseverance.
Yeah. The,
Like in that Kevin Hart video, right? He says he's just like, I chose stand up comedy, and this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna stick to it. Like I'm doing this. I'm not quitting. If I'm
yep.
just a touring guy and I never become like the movie star and lights guy, then I just do this. And I did it for 13 years or 20 years, and dogged determination.
And that's where I started this. Like this is my for the long haul. I'm going to do this because I just enjoy these conversations. Like even if I'm
Yeah.
not making any money out of them, actually I'm losing money on them, but I just enjoy these conversations. Um, and I don't think I'll ever stop that. Um, and it's just understanding. You need to find the thing that you don't want to stop doing just because you enjoy doing it. You need to be able to subsidize it too. Like you need to understand that the hard part is keeping it afloat and keeping it
Mm,
going, not just like, hey, I have the money to do this. It's you need to keep on at it. I've only been at it for 6 months.
oh,
Um,
nice.
I'm still not where I want to be. I think I have another 2 years before I'll get there. But even if I don't, I'm still going to work for the next 10 on this because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of what I think people need to strive for more, is understanding who and what they like,
Yeah.
and being able to jump on it. I also think a big part of that is wanting to connect with people.
Yeah.
Business is very people. Like you don't do business if you're not like, hey, like here's this really cool thing to some random stranger on the street. Like those are the types of people who do well, are the people who can just talk to anybody. Do you have any experience? Like what's your scariest experience doing that?
Oh man, so fortunately, I'm a bit of an extrovert and introvert. So you mentioned trail running, right? I'm out alone for a long period of time. I'm also pretty intense on like my morning. So I get up early. I'm a bit of a coffee snob. I'm in recovery though. I'm getting better. So I want really good coffee that I make myself, not at like Starbucks. Ugh, we don't want Starbucks. Something you make myself that's hopefully farmers were considered in that process. And you just like read books, like I have books behind me or books I'm reading over here, and you kind of think about it. So that's like my introverted self. But then you like take that insider knowledge and you got to like use it in
Hmm.
the world. And like I've heard this story, like this famous story of like a guy who emailed Jeff Bezos. This is like in the 1990s. He's like, "Hey Jeff, I'm gonna be in Seattle. Would you be open for lunch?" And he's like, if you're already going to be here, sure, I'll meet you for lunch.
Hmm.
He had no reason to go to Seattle. Like that whole email was fake. It's like a big lie. And like just taking chances. There's a book, Never Eat Alone. You ever read the book before?
I
It's,
don't think so.
yeah, it's basically it's like if you're. This is kind of back when we weren't hybrid and working from home. Like I think it's like book written in the 80s or something. But like if you email somebody, if you DM somebody, like, hey, I need help. Don't ask them for
Hmm.
money. If you ask for money, they're going to give you advice. You ask for advice, they're going to maybe give you money. If you're in the startup world, but like, ask for advice. Like, hey, I'm in your area. Can I buy you a cup of coffee? I wouldn't do lunch because people are busy. That's like an hour, 2 hour block.
Hmm.
15 minutes, 20 minutes coffee, and you're just like getting feedback. That's that an extroversion. I heard it said another way: flirt with the world. Just be flirty. Like, takes
You
practice.
you're describing me at a bar. My fiance said this. She's like, you flirt with people at the bar. And I'm like, I do. It's just because I'm interested in having that conversation with the people, right? Like it's that interest of, hey, they might understand something or I might not understand something, and just that aspect of learning and wanting to know. Um, I've kind of come to the realization we shame that a lot, and
Mm,
I really understood where a lot of my problems in early life came, because it was we shamed questions too much.
mm.
And I actually am contemplating what's going to happen when you have a child with infinite curiosity and you give them a device that will give them the exact answers that they want,
Yeah.
right? Like, how smart are those kids going to be if there's no barrier to be like, well, you're not allowed to know this information yet, or I don't know, so I'm going to tell you something that's not true,
Hmm.
or I just don't know, so I'm not going to tell you,
Yep.
or like, imagine how our society could actually evolve and persevere. I think.
Yeah.
Um, Sorry, another random thought I had.
It's all about the questions. Like, I mean, we're here in society at this point in time because somebody asked questions. Thank God they asked questions. Your ancestors asked questions. That's why you're here. Somebody
Yeah.
made some hard choices, and it, just getting the answer. It's almost like, have you ever like read a book and then you read it like 3 years later, 2 years later, and you're like, oh man, because you're a different person. Like you're highlighting points that you didn't even think about before, and that's your question's different. Like one of my favorite books ever is *Sapiens*, and I'm actually reading it for the third time. And then in my notes app, I have it like *Sapiens 1, 2, and 3*, and like my notes and questions are just different every single time
Mhm.
I read it. Ask questions, and it's crazy that you would ever shame questions. I know with kids, sometimes people do that, but like ask as much as you want. That's how you figure out how things work.
I just want to learn. That's all I really do want to do. And in all honesty, I think if you want to learn, you shouldn't be ashamed of that. Again, you can be the dumbest person in the room, but if you're asking the right questions, getting the right answers, like, does it matter?
No, it
You
doesn't.
will eventually be the smartest in the room and have to find a new room.
And I think we honestly realize, like, in our heads, if we haven't realized it yet, like, nobody cares.
That was
Maybe
a
you're like,
big,
yeah, like
big
maybe in high
understanding.
school we cared because you're asking too many questions. You're trying to get out of class. Like, God, stop asking questions. I'm trying to leave. But like now, it's like nobody cares. That's why chat. I mean, like, how many questions do you just ask ChatGPT and Claude like all day long about like everything from the
I'm sitting
mole?
there. I went to bed the other night and I had this really weird conscious. Like I've been trying to develop a theory around like consciousness theory that social
Mm,
media and our internet is more like of an extended external conscious that we all
like
use.
social conscious, yeah,
Yeah. But we treat it as though it's in our own heads, so we ruminate on the dumb and the hate instead of finding the good and the love.
yeah.
I'm still working on the theory, but just talking it through with a something that's not judging you because you said, you know what? What happens if you're a kid and you just want to know about sex, but your parents say no, and like these are questions you can ask Google, but if anybody looks at your search history, you're going to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
And yet, the AI is not judging you; it's just giving you the information.
They're like, I'm so proud that you asked that question. Let's dig into this.
Yeah, it rewards wanting to know and wanting to understand. What does the future look like for you? Like the next 6 months? What are you doing? What are you trying? Give me where people can get to you.
Yeah, so I think my goal in life is like kind of like yours, like why I'm in data is like I'm trying to figure out how the world works. From the books I read to the people I meet, like we're on this rock moving at 25,000 miles per hour. We all believe in different things religiously and politically and but back to like Carl Sagan, you're still on this pale blue dot in the middle of something and we don't know how we're here. We have ideas and theories and beliefs and all of that, but I want to know why and how. And in my little small part, so what we're doing and like why are people traveling to Mallorca, right? Like why are people going to these little small islands or these really crowded, like the Tulip Festival in Amsterdam that people have been talking about for hundreds of years. Like I could geofence it and figure out, oh, that's really cool. So I think my future though is really digging deeper into data and actually using a lot of our technology internationally in parts of like Africa and South America where there's like limited phone use, but there's still a lot of phones to try to figure out like what the future looks like for countries and continents and the prediction models that we can already see with like AI, but like once I know an history of location behavior going back years, what can I predict with some strong accuracy? And I think commercially, brands and companies want to know that. But what could I give to the consumer as well? So those are some of the things that we'll be working on.
Very fair, and I look forward to seeing what comes out of it. I'll make sure all of your links and everything are down in the description below. Do you have any final words?
No, thanks for having me. It's a great podcast. I love the different directions that it goes. And guys, continue to listen. This is fun.
Thank you very much. And for everybody out there, stay weird.